is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hanging with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Hey. It is Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time in Frisco, Texas. There's a lovely look at Tostitos Championship Plaza at Ford Center at the Star of Frisco. Got a little action going on out there. It's 86 degrees. It feels like 93. A low tonight of 75. Summer is bearing down upon us soon, Kurt.
Yes, we had all that rain. Probably had a little too much rain, but
for like
maybe a while where we get
3 weeks straight we had rain. So
Yeah.
little action out there on a Thursday, and Kurt and I are here in the studio.
Yes.
Jesse Holley was up in New Jersey. We'll tell you about what that was about here in just a little bit. But he was up in New Jersey, had a flight, got canceled, thought he was going to be on the show today, and then flight got bumped up, so he's on his way to the airport. And then Nate is somewhere in Florida.
Nate's on an adventure.
He went on another drive. This time he went east instead of west and south.
Yeah.
So we'll hopefully have Nate here in just a little bit, trying to get him in here on the show. But right now you are stuck with Kurt Daniels and Shannon Gross.
Stuck.
So we don't blame you if you want to go ahead and turn the radio off or stop the podcast now. But if you want to hang out, we're going to talk some football, because this will be the last show that we have until we go to training camp. It might be the last Hanging with the Boys until we get back from training camp.
Yeah, I don't know if us back here who aren't going to camp will be doing the show or not.
I think we're trying to figure out how many shows, what that show looks like, who's going to camp. All those things are still up in the air, but it sounds like we're going to training camp in Oxnard sometime in July.
Let's hope that finally gets worked out. I know they're definitely hoping it will, and working on potential plans and stuff. So.
Has there been an official word yet?
No, I don't think they've officially announced anything.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what the holdup with anything might be. Maybe they're still trying to decide if it's even possible. I'm not sure, but they have plans either way, I think. So hopefully the ones in Oxnard will work out. So you looking forward to going back if that happens?
A little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready for football and to feel normal, like it's a normal season, and that'll be the first big thing that'll feel normal. But I've got, a 10-month-old here.
Yeah.
And his birthday would be while I was at training camp. So that would be a little bit of a but he's not going to know it. He's not even he'll be a year old. He's not going to know it.
Missus will know it.
Yes, that's the big thing. And will probably never let me forget about missing it. But the cool thing is, when he gets a little bit older, he can have 2 birthday parties. He can come to California and watch football for his birthday, and then he can come back here and have a party with his friends when Dad gets back.
There you go.
Or before Dad goes. So it'll be cool when he gets a little older. But for now, he's not going to remember. So.
No.
But I think I'm ready to go. I'm ready for football to be there. I'm ready for fans to be there. I'm ready for fans to be in the stadiums. I'm ready for road trips. I'm ready for football to be football again.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you there.
I talked to a lot of the guys, during the off season about playing in stands that were not full, and a lot of them said the very first game at SoFi with no stands and no, I don't think they had crowd noise yet. I don't think they had figured that piece of it out.
Right.
Just dead silence, and you could hear the opposing team call the plays in, and you could hear everything everyone was saying, and there was no energy in the building, and it was they all said the same thing. It was the weirdest.
I bet.
They didn't like it at all.
I wouldn't think so.
So I'm sure, not only will the fans be ready to be back in the stadium, the players will be as well. So
yeah, Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think everybody is ready to get back to normal, bust loose. It's going to be a party here, and the players are going to love it. So
Yeah. All right, let's talk about. Got a few things to talk about today.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go first?
Well, I don't know. Some of these ideas, you'd like the player's perspective of it all, so it makes it a little tougher. But I wanted to ask you. I mean, you said you've been talking to some of these guys in the offseason. Have you had a chance to talk to any of these guys over the last few days with the mini camp, OTAs, that kind of thing?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to be around the guys.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were able to do anything yet, social media wise.
No, not yet. But I mean, I've talked to some of the guys, but not in person.
Right.
So, yeah,
not quite there yet.
not quite there yet.
Yeah.
We'll see how that shakes out during the season.
Yeah. Well, one thing I thought. I wanted to get kind of Nate's perspective on it, especially in Jesse, but
Well, they're not here, Kurt.
they're not
so
here.
You're stuck with me.
You're going to have to give it to me.
I will give you. You know what? I will give more than I've ever given on this show today, just
can't
because
wait.
because I have to, because there's no one else to talk
Yeah,
for the next
we're stuck.
40 minutes. So
That's good.
okay, so you fire away, and I will give you my perspective.
The news that kind of they were talking about a lot yesterday was Dak had said that he's buried this injury mentally.
Yes.
And he said it as a part. He basically wants people to stop talking about it. He wants to stop being asked about it, which isn't going to happen.
Right.
People will continue asking probably throughout the season, at least until he can really prove he's ready to go. Are you buying that he's buried it mentally?
I'm buying to a certain extent. I think Dak is one of the most mentally tough people I have ever met personally. I think he's one of the most mentally tough. I mean, just think about his life, man. You know, growing up, he's been an underdog his entire life. He's proven everyone wrong at every step along the way. He lost his mom.
You're right.
He lost his brother.
Right.
He came here as what was he, a fourth-round draft pick when he came here? No one, a fourth-round quarterback in the Cowboys organization is an afterthought. Like, you never expect to see them ever hit the field, especially when Tony Romo is your starter and locked into a super long-term deal and never really had any major health issues. So everything that he's overcome, I think talking about it and saying it, and I love the mentality of it. Like, hey, look, I'm good. You guys keep this going, and I love that he came out and said, look, let's bury it.
Yeah,
it's over. Like I'm moving forward. I love that he said that. But the first time he's going to be back out on the field, I think that there's going to be something there. I mean, you look at Tom Brady when he tore his knee up.
Right.
When he came back, it took him a season and a half before he was. You could tell when people would get around his feet, he would get nervous. You could tell when people would get around his knees, he would step back a little. But if anybody can bury it, it's this man. Right. If there's anyone in the world that can really just block it out and say, okay, let's go forward, Dak Prescott is the person to do it. I think he has to say that, and he has to say that to himself to push forward and get through it. I think, we will see when training camp gets here. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think they're not going to let people around his feet and stuff until probably we see him in a game. So I think that's going to be your first time to really see him.
Yeah. Those linemen wind up around his feet.
I mean, out here in mini camps, he's not even participating. And he's just doing, if there's any kind of line or any kind of rush or anything, he's not in there. They're not letting him participate. So, but yeah, I mean, what do you think about it? I
agree. I mean, it's a very rare athlete, I think, who can bury these things mentally. Right now, he's not in team drills. Nobody's, like you said, there's no traffic around him. Everything's clean. Nobody's trying to knock him down or anything. So, looks good, feel good, everything's fine. The true test will become when he gets in those games.
And I think him saying that is more of going forward. it's him saying, I'm not talking about this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he set the precedent and said, hey, I buried it mentally. I want you guys to stop asking about it. So now if someone comes in and asks about it, he can say, I've already addressed this. I'm not talking about it anymore. I buried it.
Well, so he's going to have to address it.
You think?
The media's not going to let it go. I mean, because he is going to be.
But they'll let it go if he keeps telling them, I'm not talking about this.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. But when he gets in that first game, and there are guys around his feet, people are going to ask him about it.
But I think what he's trying to do is stop those conversations between now and all throughout training camp. Hey, how's the ankle? Like, he's just going to look at him now and be like, not talking about it. And if he does that one or two times and the media realizes like he's really not talking about this, then they're going to be forced to not talk about it.
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, it's a balance because you don't want to come across as a jerk. You don't want to be an enemy to the media or anything like that. And I don't think he is. He handles the media great. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's going to be totally buried in that he's never going to talk about it again. I think it's going to come up. I think he can address it quickly, politely, straightforward, and be done with it. And then, of course, obviously, once they start playing games, he's going to have to do it. So, but I mentioned Rare is the athlete that can kind of bury it like this. He might be that guy. I like you said, he's been through so much already. His personality. He's such a leader. I mean, it's just over and over again. You hear how great he is at that he could be that guy that could really let it go.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And, now he doesn't have to worry about anything financially because he just signed this Nike deal. I'd hate to think that he might have been struggling there without Nike, but I say that tongue in cheek, of course, because he already had the loaded contract.
I think the Nike deal was more that he likes Nikes. And he likes Jordan than it was about the money. Even though Schefter came out and said he's the highest paid
NFL guy now.
Yeah, for Jordan. I think it's Jordan brand, not just Nike, because Jordan's different than just a regular Nike contract. So,
I don't know who could get paid higher than him in any Nike, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, but what do you think about that?
For him.
We had noticed back a few weeks ago some pictures. I think it was his first practice back, and Dana Burns, that runs our social media, saw that she has this eagle eye for shoes. Saw that he wasn't wearing Adidas.
Yeah.
So she was like, should we put this out? And I'm like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Let's find out. So we went to PR, and I think PR reached out, and he didn't say, no, don't put that out.
Uh-huh.
He kind of dodged the issue, didn't really say anything about it. So we were like, I guess we could crop the shoes, which would crop the ankle, which would then start another conversation about the Cowboys are not showing Dak Prescott's ankle. So then we were like, no, we got to show the full body shot. So we put it out, and that was in my mind the first thing that he knows people are going to be shooting practice. So and he's not wearing Adidas. And
he was wearing all black shoes, though, right?
All black.
Trying to at least keep it a little
not like the big check mark on the side. Yeah. So, but so that was the first thing that I noticed, and then when this came out, so it didn't surprise me that he's going with Jordan. So
it's nice. Good work. You can get it.
Yeah, man. Not bad at all. Not a bad side gig.
Yeah. Well, speaking of ankles, one thing that came out of the mini camp as well is, Amari Cooper didn't work out at all. He had ankle surgery in January, and McCarthy said that he quoted he's had some irritation in his ankle, and now they're saying he may not be ready for training camp. Is that worrying you at all? That your number one receiver, he's had problems in the past, and is that worrisome yet?
Yeah, it worries me.
Yeah,
I think anytime you have an injury that prevents you from preparing for the season, even if you're ready for the season, you're taking reps out of that person's hands. So that bothers me. And then we've seen how these injuries that weren't injuries, and then all of a sudden they were minor injuries, have turned into things that have held guys out of
See Lyle Collins.
games and half of a season. And, so anytime, especially if it's a big enough deal for a coach to talk about it, then that lets me know it's something. Because these guys, every year, like, it's amazing to me how many injuries these guys have during the season that you never hear about.
Yeah.
Because they don't tell anybody. It's a sign of, for these guys, it's a sign of, I don't know if it's a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of they don't want excuses. They don't want their teammates to feel like they're making excuses, because they all play through it, whether it's a dislocated finger or it's a broken broken bone here that they put a cast on, or a torn this or torn that. They all have multiple surgeries by the ends of their career. If they're in this league for any amount of time, they have multiple surgeries in the offseason that you don't ever even hear about.
Yeah, it's a competitive edge thing too. If that cornerback knows that maybe Cooper's right ankle or whatever, I can't remember which one it is, but maybe he can't cut as fast that way or something like that. So there's so much that goes on. They keep quiet.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's any alarm bells going off yet with me, but I think it's something to definitely keep an eye on, and especially when that's an ankle for a receiver that you need that
for sure.
And I'm not a trainer, and Britt Brown, don't ever think that I'm saying that I'm a trainer, but you would think that that's something on a receiver that could turn into a nagging type injury, where it's because that you need that ankle to plant, and you need that ankle to be explosive, and it does concern me.
You have to think though that if the Cowboys now, I don't know, Amari's one of the top receivers in the game, so it'd be a big blow if he was out some games. But I mean, that's the one position where you feel a little bit better, because CeeDee Lamb, they're saying he looked phenomenal out here at these workouts, and Michael Gallup is, he's not only been a solid performer the first 3 years, he's heading into a contract year. He's going to ball out. And they've got some other guy, Cedric Wilsons and all that. Maybe they can step up as that third guy. They're not going to be a first guy, but you feel at least a little bit better that if he goes out, you're hopefully got the horses still to kind of make up for it, I guess.
Yeah, that's
not that I want to find out.
No, and if you think about that, and you throw in the two tight ends that you have, you're going to have a healthy Blake Jarwin back, hopefully, and Dalton Schultz. You throw them in there, and then you got Tony Pollard out of the backfield. Like, if there's a position that you could afford to have a guy take a couple of games off, I think receivers probably your most. You have the most depth.
Yeah.
And most options there. Did
you see where I guess there are a number of receivers that didn't work out much in these mini camp just for various injuries, whatever, and they had Pollard working at receiver some. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, I wonder, what do you think about that?
I love it.
Do you?
Dude, I'm telling you, good luck guarding these receivers this year.
Yeah.
And good luck if Kellen Moore creates things with the tools that he has. You've got Pollard that can. You got Zeke can catch out of the backfield.
True.
You got Jarwin. If you go with an empty backfield set and you've got Jarwin, Schultz, your three receivers, like, good luck. somebody. There's going to be one or two bad matchups on the defensive side of the ball every play.
Right.
It's just, can you quarterback stay healthy? Which I feel completely confident with that. Can your O-line stay healthy to keep your quarterback off the ground is probably the biggest question.
Yeah. I heard you guys talking last week about the backup quarterback, and it doesn't matter who it is, they're going to be in trouble. So you got to keep Dak upright. But you may be right that the line's got to be healthy.
Yeah,
can't afford to lose 3 guys and others banged up, and yeah.
So we'll see. And Lyle looks great. He's lost some weight. He looks really.
Was he doing
really
all
fit.
The normal workouts out there, or was he still kind of on the side?
I think every time I saw, he was on the side.
Yeah.
But just from our window up here, we can see the practice field, and I saw him a couple of times, and he wasn't in pads, and like he's slimmed up. He's really fit, so he looks really good. So Tyron says he feels better than he's ever felt. He said that.
Yeah, he had that surgery.
He said he really needed that surgery,
Yeah.
and he thinks that's something. He's got more range in his neck than he's ever had.
Yeah, and that was something I really wanted to ask Nate about. Was
Well, Nate's not here, Kurt.
I know, but he's got the experience of it all. But the surgery feels good now. But when you're in there banging up against other 300-pound guys, is he going to hold up? I guess.
Yeah.
I guess stingers are just. Have you ever had a stinger?
I have not.
I've
I've hit my funny bone.
Yeah.
Which I imagine when I hear stinger, that's what I think it feels
that
like.
kind of feeling.
But
I don't. Tyron was saying he'd lost strength in his left arm. I mean that you're starting. Sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
Getting serious there, and they were saying he's sounding like he's getting the strength back. It was to that degree, I guess. But you hope he's another guy. You hope that. You just got to be there, Not unlike receiver, we don't know what the depth might be at the line position. So.
All right, before we go to break, we have a caller.
Oh, nice.
Eli wants to talk about actually one of the points on your run sheet today, Kurt. He wants to talk about Randy Gregory. So, Eli, welcome to the show.
Hey, Eli.
Hey guys, I absolutely love the show. I love y'all's chemistry, even though the other half of your team is gone. I really look forward to y'all. Y'all are really good together, and I know that from time to time they like to change things up. I'd like for y'all to keep it like this, like if y'all can, because I really look forward to y'all. I mean, the other shows are good, but your chemistry is really, really good.
Well, thank you. Well, send a tweet to the boss, Derek Eagleton, and let him know that. Keep us together. Don't break the band up.
I'm kind of like Nate. I don't tweet. I've never even been on.
That's smart.
Yeah. I don't do that. I'm having enough problems with Facebook. So still, and I'm in my 40s. So what does that do? I've been doing it since the beginning. I think the only thing that with Gregory that's going to solve it, from anybody, he's going to get questions the whole time, but you got to have one good year, right? You have that one good year where even if he gets 9 sacks, they're going to come back and they're going to be like, finally you had an off season and you did all the right things because you were able to do what you do on the side and be here at the same time. It's still not going to die down until maybe the following year when he has an even better year, gets 11 sacks. And I'm not reaching high like a lot of people are reaching. They want double-digit sacks for him, and anything in the higher single-digit or lower single-digit, it's going to work for me. But I think after that second year, people will forget about it and be like, okay, now he's been productive for 2 years. But until then, there's always going to be that question because he was pretty much the test dummy for this new rule. I mean, they handed it to him. He was the example. They threw the book at him as much as possible, and the Cowboys never gave up on him, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Because we're in an age where everything is changing, and you gotta be adapt to people's thoughts. And that's one thought: people like to smoke. You know what I mean? And and from all ranges, I've seen. I'm a professional, and I've seen. From where I grew up to in the professional levels now, it's across the board. So It's just some people are able to function, some people are able to not. And I think he's a functional person. But that's when I think it's going to die down. My questions real quick were on Joseph. I hate to ask this because I don't want to throw out any speculations or one of those things when people create their own scenarios in their minds, conspiracy theories. But was this COVID an unavoidable circumstance, or was he out and about? You know what I mean? That's something that I'd want to know because then he had character issues before. So, and which I didn't think were character issues. You know what I mean? I thought it's just a kid being a kid. So I wanted to get that. And also, y'all talking about Lyle being in shape. I know last year because of COVID, everybody got fat, including myself. You know what I mean? I'm still getting fat. But Lyle came in overweight last year. I remember y'all talking about it, where he looked out of shape. Is there a drastic difference in his weight, the appearance? You know what I mean? Because sometimes the eye check, makes a big difference when you're out there and it's easier for you to get into football shape.
Right.
But
I think part of Lyle's problem with if he was out of shape was...
Thanks for the call, Eli. I appreciate it, man.
Love you guys. Bye.
I think part of that problem was he had a hip issue.
Right.
And it's pretty tough to do cardio and such like that when you're struggling with an injury. So that I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt that he it was hard to work out because he couldn't do it.
His body may be slimmer, but I guarantee you his hair is not. His hair is out of control.
Is it? He's taking over for Joe Looney.
He's getting there. He looks right now almost like a wild version. Remember Kid and Play?
Yeah.
The real high fade?
Yeah.
He's kind of got that, but it's like a cross between Kid and Play and Joe Looney right now.
I got to see this.
It's pretty wild. I like it.
That's funny.
I like it, yeah.
He asked about Kelvin Joseph, too. I don't know the circumstances around him, but, he was in the protocol there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But, who knows? I mean, he's a young guy. In this day and age, you're going to go out.
And look, man, here's the deal. I don't know if people realize this or not because we live in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody wearing masks here in Texas. Like, we are 100% open. You go to a restaurant, the servers aren't wearing. Some places they are, but for the most part, your Walmarts, your Targets, the employees aren't wearing masks. Like, we're open for business. So for as far as him being out and about, like, I mean, we're open for business.
Yeah, I've noticed that now. The signs have changed from "Please wear a mask" to "We recommend you wearing a mask if you're vaccinated or if you're not vaccinated." So and we were up in New Jersey a couple of days ago, and it's still a lot tighter up there.
Yeah,
so.
I heard like New York and California, they're just now. Last week we're getting back to like 50%, but to be honest with you, we for probably probably for a year, we've been open. Restaurants and things have been open. I mean, people have been like they took a lot of the tables out and stuff, and servers were wearing masks and things like that. But we've been, I guess, to 50% for
a while now.
8, 9, 10 months.
A year, but it's been a while.
It's been a while. So we're as far as him being out and about. Like you leave the building, you go out here in the Star, and you don't really have to wear a mask anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's is what it is. I imagine throughout the season we're still going to see guys pop up on that list. It's just bound to happen. But I think with the advances they made and kind of just learning how to deal with it, that people are thankfully kind of getting back to normal lives, and that includes your 20-something-year-old rookie quarterback. He's going to get out there and go. So.
And I think that the NFL did a phenomenal job last year with all the COVID stuff and the like. I really didn't give the season much of a chance. Like I didn't think with the with the things that happened with hockey and the things that happened with basketball and baseball. I mean hockey was a little bit better, but things that were happening with baseball and all that. I with them not being able to put the NFL in a bubble just because of the sheer numbers and the traveling, and I thought it was going to be a lot more widespread than what it was. So I think they did whatever they did a good job, because you didn't see a whole lot of guys popping up. I mean, you saw some guys.
Yeah, there were a few cases that Denver play without quarterbacks and stuff, but for the most part,
it wasn't widespread.
Right.
Like it didn't just run rampant through clubs, and so whatever they did, they did a good job. Yeah. So, all right, we will talk. You know what? He brought up Randy Gregory.
Yeah, I did.
Let's talk Randy Gregory. Let's take a break. When we come back, we got Randy Gregory. We have a little Zeke talk because Kurt's on the show, and we can't get through the show without Zeke. I don't know. We'll figure out what else we're talking about when we come back on Hanging with the Boys.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Hey, Cowboy fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit CowboysTravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience the best sports venue in the world, AT&T Stadium. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit CowboysTravel.com to book your package today.
Hey Cowboys fans, there's a lot to get excited about for the upcoming season, but nothing more so than having a packed AT&T Stadium to cheer on the Cowboys every Sunday afternoon. At SeatGeek, we've been using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier, like football games, country shows, rodeos, pro wrestling, and everything in between. Download the SeatGeek app today and let there be live. SeatGeek.
1996, a great year and a glorious decade. Dolly the sheep was cloned. Dial-up was awesome. Influencers didn't exist. Pants were baggy. And the Dallas Cowboys won it all yet again. Sadly, we can't go back to the 90s, but we can still watch the Cowboys try to win it all once more. Whether you're traveling to the games or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
We back. It's the Kurt and Shannon show today. Jesse Holly is heading to the airport. Nate Newton is MIA. He tried to get the technology to work.
Yeah. He's in what? Been going to Orlando? He's at amusement parks out there somewhere.
What?
Yeah. Have you seen his Twitter?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't check out Nate's Twitter. It's the whole family's out at riding rides and having fun.
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine Nate on an amusement park ride?
I don't think he's been getting on the rides. He's just along. He's tagging along and documenting. It looks like.
Is he?
Looks like they're having fun.
Okay. All right. Well, Nate, have fun. I'm sure he probably didn't even try to log in. He probably just said, "Hey, I can't get it to work, fellas. I'll see y'all next time we do the show." So, we're going to get into some Randy Gregory talk, but before we do, we started it and we can't stop it. The phones are ringing, and it's been way too long since we have talked to our good buddy Eric in North Carolina. How you been, Eric?
Yo,
what's up, man?
What's up, my guys?
What's happening?
What's for lunch? Isn't that the question?
Yeah, what was for lunch?
I made some sandwiches last night because I knew I was going to have time to stop or do anything else. I made like some little club sandwiches. A little roast beef and turkey and a little bacon on it. I put bacon on everything, like my ice cream.
There you go.
My candy. I eat bacon with everything.
Everything's better with bacon.
Good grief.
Everything's better with bacon. I actually went to San Antonio last month. It was my first time ever going out there. It was so awesome. I love the crowd. I love the culture. So, shout out to Texas for once again hosting me and giving me the greatest hospitality I think I've ever had outside of being in my own house. So that's I love San Antonio. Shout out to San Antonio. But it's just so great to talk to y'all. I miss y'all. I've been listening, hearing all the chatter here and everything, man. Y'all continue bringing the thunder every week. So I appreciate that. My catering company's doing well. I'm about to buy a house, and life is on the up and up, guys.
All right.
Well, good. Good to hear from you, Eric. That's good, man.
Yes. So all I have to eat is a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl and that to win the MVP and the comeback.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go, Eric. Let's go.
First player in NFL history to win league MVP and NFL comeback player of the year. I expect that for Dak. I expect Zeke to bounce back. I expect with Randy Gregory to have a full off season. There's no limitations. There's nothing in his way. He can focus on football. He's going to break out. He's going to be a monster, and that's going to open up things for my boy Tank on the other side. We got bigger in the middle. We got fast, speedy linebackers. Jabril Peppers is the number one steal of the entire draft. I'm calling it right now. Let's go. Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl. Let's get it, guys.
All right. Let's go.
Peace.
Thank you, Eric. That might be the shortest that Eric has ever talked on this show.
Right.
And it's like, Scott, you're supposed to cut him off when he says peace. Bye,
Thanks,
Eric. Thank you. No, I think he meant Jabril. I think he meant
Jabril Cox.
Jabril Cox, not Jabril Peppers. But yes, so Eric's fired up for the season, and we haven't even got to training camp yet. So
that's good. I hope a lot of Cowboys fans are like,
yes,
that's awesome.
He brought up Randy Gregory.
Yeah.
And I got a quote that I want to read to you from Randy Gregory. A buddy of mine actually sent me this, and he sent it to me, and he said, this Randy Gregory quote, effing has me fired up. Just awesome and want him to succeed so bad. This quote should relate to everyone. So he said this was, I believe, day before yesterday when he talked to the media. It's a lot of self-love. There was a time in my life when you could ask me to say one good thing about myself, and I couldn't. I could tell you 20 bad things. I've come a long way from that. I can say a lot of good things about myself. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud. I'm proud of where I'm at. I'm proud of the journey I took. A lot of guys don't make it as far in this league as I have. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I think I've earned what I've gotten, whether it's bad or good, and I'm going to continue to do that. My best years are to come. They are ahead of me.
Yeah.
So Randy obviously has dealt with some things in his past, when he's on the field and he's, he's right, like he's damn near unstoppable.
Yeah. I mean, he's matured a lot. And I think what he's dealt with in the past, he's had the suspensions.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, the Cowboys didn't give up on him because he's a good dude, and the suspensions, it wasn't, I don't think, and I'm not there, I'm not in the room, I don't know for sure, but the impression I get is this, he wasn't like he was out partying and just tearing it up and being a bad dude. Mm-hmm. It was more about, like he mentioned in his quote, he had struggles with mentally and depression and what he was doing recreationally was to try to help him through that, I think, more than being, you've had other players come through, like a David Irving maybe, who, they got suspended because they were out partying in it. And I never got the impression that was such the case as much with Randy Gregory, which is why the team stuck with him.
Right.
And so now you're really seeing the maturity come through, and like I think even the caller before said, some of the rule changes and how the NFL is approaching that whole subject has changed some, which is helping a guy like him. So, yeah, you hope now that he's kind of reached that you talk about it with quarterbacks, reaching that level of when your mental maturity and knowledge of the game catches up with your physical part of that. And maybe you're seeing that some with Gregory here.
Yeah. And with him being, he's projected to be the starter, it's going to be interesting to see how that affects him because, does it affect him where it's so much pressure that it affects him negatively in a mental? Does he put too much pressure on himself, or does he appreciate where he's come from to get to where he's at? And it's like, hey, this is why I fought so hard. This is, the team didn't give up on me, and I got here. I made it. This is where I wanted to be. And then he excels and takes off because, man, when he's the little bit he got to play last year, man, he Nick, you want to come in? Nick's coming in. I hope he wasn't listening and we said something wrong.
We're in trouble now.
What's up, man?
What's up? Hey, well, I think that
get my spot over here.
Get in here.
I think we must. Derek was probably like, "Man, you guys."
Derek
suck.
was like,
Send
"They're
Derek,
struggling.
Send Nick down.
Send in the ace. Bring him in." Now Scott's got to figure out how to turn that mic on.
What's up?
What's up, man?
So I was actually talking about Jesse, and I was like, "Is he down there? I got to go talk to Jesse." And like, "No, he's not down there." I was like, "Oh, he's doing it remote." They're like, "No, he's not on the show." I was like, "It's just Shannon and Kurt."
Yeah, it's us.
I'm like,
struggle bus.
Well, I mean, just any two people would be tough. So,
But
I share a show, with Derek and Dave and Amber, and I mean, I never get to
It's hard to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine you ever not being able to talk. You're going to talk.
I'll jump in there. Yeah. Sometimes I do that with Dave. I'm like, really?
You know what? You brought up Jesse, and we were going to talk about Jesse, so this is a perfect segue into that. But before we do, we were just talking about Randy Gregory and the team sticking with him because he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like if you get to know him, he's a good dude. And we were just talking about the quote that he had, talking about, at one point he couldn't even name one good thing about himself and how he's proud of himself and he's come through all that stuff. And then we were just talking about, hey, he's projected to be a starter. Is that going to put so much pressure on him to where it's too much for him and it's hard to handle, or does that put it into perspective that he's come so far and been through so much? This is what he went through all that to get to, and now it takes him to the next level, and he really performs. So, what are your thoughts on Randy?
Well, I think that there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. A lot of the players look at it, and rightfully so, when it comes financially, and how much money did he leave on the table?
Yeah.
Has he not had? And he's basically, this is a contract year for him. Yeah. So any chance of getting that big second payday, that second contract. He's had a second contract, but it was not really like the one that he could have. So we've seen how guys are in their contract year, and this could be a big year. So if that's a motivational thing for him, and maybe recouping some of the money that's lost, then But I think more than anything, just like listening to some of his quotes, is that he just wants to he wants to turn his life around, and he's doing that. He's doing that now. He said, "I hope for a time when you guys aren't asking me about my past," but he knows that right now is not it. You know. They've never been able to count on him, and that's what they're able to do right now. And I think the draft was really.
Is he ready
telling.
for that?
We'll find out. I mean, that's a great question. We'll find out. But I think the Cowboys believe he is because they had a chance to draft some defensive ends.
Yeah.
That, might be reaching a little bit, but they didn't do that. So they are counting on him to be their starter. They signed Basham, but I mean,
he was primarily a pass rusher last year, and that was it. Are they they're going to be asking him to be a? I mean, he's got to do more now, right?
The drop. I don't know. I always laugh at that. The 3-4. I don't ever see him drop. A couple of times maybe that they drop, but they don't win anything. They get beat. I mean, it's a mismatch. They rush the passer. It's like Bill Cowher said in that old NFL Films thing to Greg Lloyd, rush the quarterback.
But, even like passing downs was his primary thing. Is he against the run? Is he going to be okay?
I think so. I think this is an absolute perfect fit for him. The defense. It's with a 3-4 scheme and at times that they will run it. I think it'll be perfect for him. He's going to have to be able to stop the run, like you said, and he has to work on. And he did a better job last year. The penalties. The disciplinary stuff, the not hitting back when somebody says something. I mean, not getting a 15-yard penalty. The last time he played before this last year, that was kind of an issue. I didn't think it was a big problem. I think at 1 or 2, that happens in the flow of a game. But it just can't be a guy that they target and go, hey, get under 94 skin. You can get a 15-yard penalty. If it's 3rd and 12 and you hit him or something, he might hit you back and give us a first down. So you can't be that guy.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if his goal, obviously, you want him to get sacks, you want him to play good, but it's part of his goal, it's part of what the coaches want, is him to do enough to free up Lawrence and get Lawrence in there more.
I think that's the thing, and vice versa.
Even if he doesn't necessarily rack up the stacks, he frees up Lawrence to do his thing.
Right. Nobody ever really talks about Robert Mathis. I always throw out Robert Mathis. Robert Mathis was a great pass rusher. Well, Freeney on the other side for the Colts was doing his thing, but you got to have another guy. Yeah. And that's just one example. But Anthony Spencer, D. Ware, they did it for years. You can go all the way back to Harvey Martin and Tutall. Like those two guys. When you have another guy, who do you
kind of like Jordan and Pippen, right? You got to have a superstar and you got to have a Batman. Every Batman's got to have a Robin, right?
Okay. I'm not, I don't know if there's going to be a 10-part series on ESPN about those two, but maybe, no, you're right. Your point is valid. I mean, it's just you can't just focus on one guy all the time. So if he can be that guy where you're worried about, because the thing about this particular situation is, and this is why I think D-Law needs to win more than he does. And when I'm on my show, I don't know, Derek and Dave, they love him, and I do too. I love Tank, but for the money, you got to get more sacks than that. And he is playing on the left side going up against right tackles.
Yeah.
D-Law's got to, that's why Gregory's going to be playing versus the left tackles a lot,
I think Pro Football Focus had Lawrence ranked the 7th best edge rusher in the league. You don't sound like you agree with that.
Well, they haven't ever called me to work for them, so they do their thing, and they're really good.
That's Kurt's favorite. That's Kurt's favorite reference. Pro Football.
I know a lot of people don't buy into them, but
they
just have good.
I can't say that I don't. I sat up last night at midnight watching Moneyball for the 100th time.
It's tough to pass.
I love that movie, and the concepts are very similar. Just taking stats a part of the game, and so I don't discount what PFF does at all.
Tell you what, let's take our last break. We got about 15 minutes, and I want to talk about, well, you came down here looking for Jesse, and Jesse, as we know, is usually on this show.
Yep.
So let's talk about why you were looking for Jesse. Are we allowed to talk about it?
Sure.
Why you're looking for Jesse?
I think more than anything is why didn't Jesse pass up a chance to talk? What's going on?
Well, that's another. We'll find out why when we come back from our break. And then Nick, before we get out of here, since this is the last show before training camp and we don't really know what the shows are going to look like yet, you watch all of practice.
Mostly.
Most all of practice. Yeah. But I want to know did you get anything out of it? Did you see some things that way people were lined up, guys that were getting more reps, defensive linemen in a 3-point stance versus standing up, things like that? Did you take anything out of it? I know you can't tell a lot until the pads come on.
I'll tell you my 5 favorite rookies.
Oh,
how about that?
I like that a lot.
There we go.
Find out Nick's 5 favorite rookies and why Jesse Holly's not here when we come back on Hanging with the Boys.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Hey, Cowboy fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit CowboysTravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience the best sports venue in the world, AT&T Stadium. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit CowboysTravel.com to book your package today.
Hey Cowboys fans, there's a lot to get excited about for the upcoming season, but nothing more so than having a packed AT&T Stadium to cheer on the Cowboys every Sunday afternoon. At SeatGeek, we've been using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier, like football games, country shows, rodeos, pro wrestling, and everything in between. Download the SeatGeek app today and let there be live. SeatGeek.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
We back, and I am supposed to tell you about the Cowboys fan club, Dallas Cowboys United, and how you should join, but I'm going to divert from that, and I'm going to tell you, because this show is all about me, always about me. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing tonight. I am hosting a notable live event for the fan club, which actually I think it's open to the public now. There may be some spots left. So if you go to the Dallas Cowboys fan club social media pages, you can register. We are having a live chat tonight with Stephen Jones and Emmitt Smith, and they will both be in the building live. I will be hosting it. We'll be giving away door prizes. We're giving away $100 gift cards to the Pro Shop. We're going to give away some autograph stuff. I'm going to probably find some random stuff in my office to give away. Maybe even get Emmitt and Steven to sign it. So it starts at 6:30 to 7:30. It's going to be really cool. Emmitt's really fired up. Steven's fired up that Emmitt's doing it. So it's really just going to be a fun, engaging thing. We're able to bring fans on live and ask questions within the app live in real time. So it's not your typical conference type call. It's a very interactive thing. So go register and come check it out tonight. It's going to be super cool.
Yeah, it is going to be.
Can I throw out 4 or 5 questions you can ask Emmitt?
Actually, I need to get with you after this. Okay. So, yes, 100% you can. So, Kurt's raising his finger.
16 seconds ago, our own Nate Newton just tweeted, "Today we're at Cocoa Beach. Pictures are soon to come, and once again, I will be somewhere sitting down."
Shirt on or off?
He could figure out how to tweet from where he's at, but he couldn't join the show from where he's at.
Well, he's on the beach, Wi-Fi on the beach probably isn't that great.
I don't think we want to see him on the beach anymore. Depends on what attire he's wearing.
He's having a better day than we are, probably.
All right, so let's do Jesse first. Why isn't Jesse on the show? What's going on with Jesse? Where's Jesse at, and why is he there?
Well, Jesse's in New Jersey. And
why is he in New Jersey?
Nate here and the crew are working on
Nick.
It's
okay.
I looked straight at you and said Nate, too.
If I look like Nate, let me know.
It's terrible. I apologize. Look straight at you.
No, I was kidding.
They're working on the documentary?
He's in New Jersey because his older brother, was running for, State Senate in New Jersey.
Wow.
And
younger brother.
Younger brother?
I think so.
He's the older brother.
Is he?
He's the older brother. Yeah. I'm doing the documentary on Jesse.
Stay out of this.
Okay, I'll shut up.
No, but they didn't win. The election was Tuesday. They did not win. But we were there with him. That's why I went to New Jersey, and we kind of piggybacked on that. We are doing a documentary already on Jesse and his life, and his journey is just so unique. Mm-hmm. There's not another one like it. And while a lot of people remember him for things like the show, Michael Irvin show.
Getting caught from behind.
Well, you can say that. I mean, he made the game-changing play.
He saved Dan Bailey's job.
Yeah.
Gave Dan Bailey a career in the NFL.
That probably you're not wrong.
We talk about that on the show all the time.
If he scores a touchdown and they go into the offseason under the next week going, what do we think of Dan Bailey here? I mean, it was going to be a little iffy. But
or doesn't make that play.
Yeah.
Dan missed 2 field goals that game. He's probably out of the league.
He also made one that got him into overtime. So he was kind of on the fence there, but getting the game winner was great. Yeah. But people remember Jesse for those two things. His journey just to get here is amazing. He shouldn't have been there. When we went back and saw some of the places where he lived and what he was doing, and just a rough, tough childhood. I mean, tough. Mm-hmm. And he opens up about it, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it all shakes out. But we're excited about it. It's one of our 4 documentaries for the Deep Blue series, and Kurt went along with us too. Yeah. And Kurt is working on a documentary as well.
Yeah, Drew Pearson, who's from New Jersey as well. So got a chance to do some stuff with him. Not with him, but with his sister and some of his high school and such. So.
Is that another documentary?
Yes.
Another Deep Blue? Mm-hmm. Wow, when do these come out?
Well, they'll come out in August. Most of them air right before a preseason game. Mm-hmm. So the 4 lineups, the 4 that we have this year, in no particular order, even though I think Jesse Holley might be last, hopefully, just to give us more time. But there'll be a documentary on Drew Pearson, a documentary on Jesse Holley, one on Darren Woodson, and then another one called War Stories from Draft Stories from the War Room.
Oh, nice.
It'll be a bunch of little stories all into one documentary.
Is our buddy Chris Hall going to be in that one?
That's funny you say that. It's on my list of things that I have. Today I did a list of things I got to do, and I got to email Chris Hall. Doing this show was not on the list, but it was great. It was a great.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm excited
man.
about Jesse's one. He's such a good storyteller.
My God, he's amazing. Yeah. So and just another part that maybe will make the credits or something like that. See, Jesse's the first player we've ever done a documentary on that just straight out says we're going to win an Emmy. That's the goal. Most people don't even know what it is. He knows, and that's his goal. And so we were driving around town, and we were like, we're going to do this. He's driving us around. We talked about going to lunch. Like, what about lunch? He went off on a 2-minute rant about you got to stay hungry. That's what got him through 4th and long. That's what got him here. I have it all on videotape. It's amazing. But it was just like awesome. About being hungry. We don't have time for lunch.
I think we've got a photo of Jesse.
Yeah,
Scott, can you put that up? So we have this running joke on the show, Nick, that Jesse's dad left him on the porch. Mm-hmm.
That's a joke, huh?
It's not a joke.
Okay.
No.
Like, I thought it was a joke until me and Jesse actually sat down and had lunch the other day and watched practice before the show. And like, that's a real thing. Like, he jokes about it and we joke about it, and his dad literally like left and never came back. Yeah. So like, I'm sure that'll be that's the picture that Scott's got up or a version of that up on the on the stream. So
on the porch.
But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see the story. Like, we know Jesse on the show.
Porch, right? That is the
that's the porch he got left on. So I mean, we joke about it, but it's a real deal. So I'm interested to see that too. So that'll be good. So Jesse, good on you, man, for getting this story out there. That'll be fun. Sorry that you're not on the show today, but we'll see when we get back from camp.
The weather in New Jersey's messed up some flights. Kurt will tell you. I had to wait a little bit.
So Nick, you got about 5 minutes left. Give us. Yeah. You said you give us your most impressive rookies, and then give us some takeaways that you noticed at camp or things that jumped out at you.
Well, fortunately, number one is number one. I mean, that's Micah Parsons is at the point where you want to see him go up against the best, the very best, because the guys that they're putting out there right now, and not in pads, I mean, he gets by them. I think his pass rushing ability is something that we didn't. We've seen it. I mean, I remember saying before the draft, hey, he's unblockable from the games that I've seen, but I think he is going to be a dynamic rusher, and that just adds a different element to his game. But I think he's been everything as advertised. He's made a great interception for a touchdown in another drill. He's done everything. Now the pads need to come on. We'll see how all that works. But he has been the best guy, and that's even saying some expectations are higher for him.
Yeah, I saw him one play. He went up and got a ball, like climbed the ladder, looked like a receiver, almost fingertip catch down around the goal line.
Yeah.
And like I was like, dude, that's
a great play.
For a linebacker to do that, that's like DB type play. That's
right.
He looks good, man.
And I try to throw expectations out the window because, I mean, they can kind of, they can change your perception of them based off of where they're picked. And you're like, but I like to look at it like who's having the best camp. But Nahshon Wright, man, he's been really good.
Really?
Yeah. I think he'd be my next guy on this list. He's just. He's got great instincts. He really does, and he makes up for and I say makes up for. He's got length, and you just don't see a lot of 6'4" corners, but he does a really nice job. Who are we seeing here? We're seeing Nahshon. Okay, sorry.
Is there any concern? I mean, he has the height and the length. Is he strong and thick enough? I mean, size.
I think that's why he plays corner.
Okay,
because he's got the perfect safety build. But I think that's why he plays corner, and that takes me to my next guy that I think is really done well, and that's Israel Mukuamu, number 38.
Sixth round?
He was sixth round corner from South Carolina. He played opposite J.C. Horn. He told Jerry right after the draft, you drafted the best corner in the draft. And they're like, well, that's cool because we're moving you to safety. Cool. Well, you got the best safety in the draft. He has looked really good. And I think having that's the big thing. Safeties can cover, obviously, if you're a former corner, but can you hit? Can you have the instincts? Can you do all the things safeties are needed? He's looked really smooth out here. I think Mukuamu's a guy that I'm very impressed with as well.
I'm impressed you can pronounce the name right off the bat there. That's
Mukuamu.
Mukuamu, is that it?
Yeah. If I be real honest, I was so. Israel is kind of different than I thought it would be spelled. So I was worried about that, and Mukuamu and all that.
And Osa.
And I spelled it wrong. I spelled it Mukuamu. And his agent emailed me. Nicest guy ever. Nicest guy. Thank you so much for the article. Blah, blah, blah. We're excited. By the way, misspelled, I'm like.
We got some names that we drafted.
Oh, we did.
Osa and
Odigizua, which would be my next guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, number 4. I think he's looked. I mean, it's hard for defensive tackles to kind of stand out because are you going? Are you going 100%? Is your blocker going 100%? That's all that. But I think he's going to be a difference maker. I like what the versatility we're seeing him line up.
That's interesting because we heard so much about the other kid. And the
Bahana?
Yeah, you heard because of his size. You heard so much in his quotes and all that.
I like him, too. I'm all for him on our show. I mean, Derek's got him in the Hall of Fame, basically. So I mean, he's going to Canton. His first game will be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he's going to start his career. That's where he's going to probably end, according to Derek. Yeah. If my last guy, I mean, I think Bohanna would be good, but I mean, let's don't rule out Farniok, Matt Farniok, the center from the Nebraska. Yeah, because. Who's he got to beat out? Tyler Biadasz?
Yeah.
I don't think our starter. I don't think all the centers are on the roster right now. I'll say that. I don't know if the starting center is. It might be Biadasz, but I don't. Farniok is he's not that far behind, and so that's that. Wow. But that's why I think they got to. That's a position of need. I think.
Where's Joe Looney?
Yeah,
well,
I was wondering that.
I saw him at like over here at the Star District one time. I thought he was about to sign. I was like, "You going to sign?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just kind of talking to him, waiting to sign." And that hasn't happened. But I'll tell you another thing that hasn't happened. I mean, we got 2 number 6s and I think 2 number 10s and all these numbers. We don't have a 73.
Saving that for somebody, maybe?
You heard it here first.
Huh.
Nick
And you
Eatman.
heard it here second because I said it on the Cowboys break every Wednesday.
What's Cowboys break?
Oh, it's just a top show that we've got on our site. It's our number 1 show.
Closing in fast.
Do you think they're worldwide? They're not worldwide, are
They're
they?
not. They don't have the fan base we do.
No.
It's not as widespread.
We're the only.
They're more concentrated, like in Plano area. We're in the UK. We're in
right.
France. I don't know. I've heard Philip call y'all show before too. Philip
Yeah.
from France.
I think so.
Yeah.
We get a guy from Hawaii calling a lot. That's not really international, but sounds
Should
good.
be.
Should be. Yeah, we don't have any players on our show. I mean, we're the only we're the only show that doesn't have a former player on it.
Y'all don't need it. You're the top show. You don't need. You're doing just okay without it.
What did you say? I didn't hear what you said. We're the what?
You're the top show. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Douglas, there's your cowbite you were looking for. You were looking for that cowbite. You're looking for that cowbite that would beat it. So
But before we go, anything else? What are you going to be looking at at camp? This will be our last show before we go to camp. Like, what? I tell you what position battle are you most looking forward to?
That's the one right there at center. I mean, I think that's a big battle right there. Just what happens at center. You had a 4th-round pick, Tyler Biadasz from a year ago, didn't play a whole lot. He's the leader in the clubhouse right now, Matt Farniok.
Can you go into a season with their hopes with a rookie center like that?
Well, Biadasz would be a second-year guy, but he's relatively young still.
I guess true.
Yeah, but can you? Yeah, but it scares me.
That's what is 7th-round guy?
I think if he's the best option, I'm okay with him starting. I still want a Joe Looney, a veteran in there that can play some guard too, that if something doesn't happen, I mean, you don't have to turn to a 7th-round pick. You turn to a veteran, journeyman kind of who's been around. So the center's the position for me.
What position battle are you looking forward to?
Defensive tackle. We'll take the other side. I mean, you got way you've talked and others that those 2 young guys sound pretty exciting, and you've got can Tristan Hill come back, and hopefully Neville Gallimore can take that next step, and so it'll be interesting. And they really need that position to step up and stop somebody this year. So
that'll affect your linebackers.
Yeah.
If those guys can do what they need to do, you'll see better play from the linebackers. And I think Brent Urban and Carlos Watkins, it's going to be weird how it all shakes out. They got a lot of guys in there, a lot of names, but they've got to shore that up. So Parsons and Jalen and Leighton and those guys can go run around and make plays.
Yeah.
You?
I think linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what the playing time is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like who? I want to see. I think Jabril Cox may be the steal of the draft across the league. So I want to see what he looks like. And Parsons, like you said, he without pads looks great. And I would love to see. I would remember the old battles between Sean Lee and DeMarco Murray. I would love to see Parsons and Zeke go at it. Or just the old school, like he's a rookie, but Zeke already tweeted out, don't touch me, rook at practice. Right. But I think he's the type of rookie that's going to put his face in there and put his nose in there and be like, yeah, okay, well, let's go. So I think there's a lot of positions I want to see shake out, but I think linebacker. Why did they draft those 2 guys? What's their plan?
Yeah.
Like how are they going to split that playing time up?
Low key position battle that's not been talked about a lot is punter.
Really?
No, but didn't he come out today and say Auger or whatever? Angers is the guy?
Really?
Well, he's the guy because he came out today and said it?
Well, I don't
week.
know if it was today.
No, he came out this week and said he's the leader right now because he's played 8 years or 9 years. But I'm telling you, Nicewinder. If you look at the stats,
he had a year.
He can boom it now. I mean, he had stats that were better than any year Chris Jones has ever had, and he was a solid punter. And this is, I mean. You get better as you go, Now, route runner for fake punts? No, not Nicewinder. That's not his thing.
Still going to take me a while to get used to Donovan Wilson and Chris Jones's number. That still throws me off.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you for jumping down here, man.
Yes.
I appreciate
you
being a good teammate and an office mate and saving me and Kurt, saving actually our listeners from me and Kurt for having to do that for 30 more minutes. So, Scott. Hell of a job, man.
Good job, Scott.
Good job, Scott. Thank you for jumping in when Chris Beam's on vacation. Nate and Jesse, y'all can just stay away because we got this handled. We don't need you guys. Kurt, good seeing you.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a while.
Yep.
We'll be back after training camp. We don't know what the show schedule is going to be like at camp. Don't really know what it's going to be like when we get back, but we will post it on the website whenever we have it figured out. Until next time, whenever that is, thank you guys. This has been the last show for a while. Hanging with the boys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!